Hey everyone, it's Chad N0YK. Today I'm down at my remote station and we're going to be doing some antenna maintenance. It's been a little bit since I've posted and things have just been pretty busy with summer. Typical June, you blink and it's over, and July hasn't been much better. But with that said, we are just past the midpoint in July, and today is a really nice day. We've been blessed with some decent weather, not a lot of wind, but quite a bit of heat. And I thought I would go up and do just a little bit of antenna maintenance and to give everybody just a little feel for what I'm going to be doing today. So on this Rohn 25 tower, we have the Mosley TA 33. So that is a 3-element Yagi for 10, 15, and 20 meters. And above that, which is going to be where we're going to be doing most of the maintenance, is a Diamond X-300NA vertical antenna. So that's for VHF, UHF. And what happened was back in March, April, when we had kind of the windy spring, the Mosley TA 33 started freewheeling, and I'm going to show you some of the pieces that broke off of that when we get inside. But it started kind of freewheeling, and I think it took out the coax going up into this this vertical. So we're going to go up there, and most likely I'm going to be replacing that end on the vertical and just doing some tightening of hardware. But that's the plan today. Go up there, get that going. And basically what I have is I have two VHF, UHF verticals. So I got the X-300NA on the left. And then on the right-hand side up there on the big tower, you can see that is the Diamond X-510. So that one is a monster. I think it's something like 18 foot long. So it's a monster. And what I usually do is on this short vertical, I'll run my All-Star node. And then on this long vertical, I have that tied to my flex radio, and I use it primarily for doing DX on 146.52 FM at about 200, 250 watts, something like that. And so the plan is today, right now the All-Star node is up there on the X510. We're going to be moving the All-Star node, if we have a successful repair, back to this 300, this X300, and then I'm going to tie this back to the flex. And I think what we'll do is put out a few CQs and just see if anybody's listening out there on 146.52. It is tropo season, so it's a good time to be listening to the simplex frequencies and just seeing if anybody's out there, because we do get a little bit of tropospheric ducting, which allows that signal to go quite a bit further than under normal conditions. So again, I'm going to take you inside real quick. I'm going to show you the SWR on this this X300. I'm going to show you the tools we're going to take up to the top of the tower. Again, it's a short climb, not going to be much of a big deal. And we're going to get up there and I'll show you what this repair looks like. So stay with me and we'll be right back. Okay, we're inside the shack, and this is kind of the room I like to just hide because it's a lot of wires. Remember, it takes a lot of wires to be wireless. But this is my All-Star node. And again, this is going up. I had to switch this, back in the April-May timeframe when I noticed the issue with the All-Star node. But this is the coax that feeds that X510. And basically what we found is, if we look over here on the SWR meter, see if I can get this to show up. I'm going to boot this up, and I'm on 146.500 thereabouts. You can see we have really high SWR. It's 1 to 5, something like that. So something is definitely wrong with the vertical antenna, that X300. So we'll go up there and check it out. Most likely it's the connector. But kind of following up on what I said out there, basically Mosley makes these custom mast spacers, and basically if after a little bit of movement they tend to break, and when they break they tend to fall out, and then that loosens up the mast and the antenna, and it freewheels in the wind, and it's just a mess. But I had some of those on hand, and here's what one looks like. I'm pretty sure you could probably 3D print these now. I'm not sure how Mosley makes these. They've made them for years, but that's one that's intact and ready to go up. But basically this spring, with the wind and everything, and just over time these things got fragile and broke, and that antenna spun around and took out the vertical. So I'm going to show you the tools we're going to take. Okay, so what we're going to be taking up with this is a very basic repair, but I got a LMR 400 MEL-N connector. We're going to be taking that up. And I do want to give a shout out to W5SWL. He's on eBay. He has his own website. I buy pretty much all my connectors through this gentleman, and he has really good service, and you can get these connectors at a really good price. They're probably, I don't know, $5 with shipping, something like that. But we're going to be taking this up. We got our standard crimper. This will crimp the outside shield and the center conductor. I don't know if I'm going to use this. I might. Kind of mixed opinions on these strippers, but you know, if the coax cooperates, these things can be pretty handy. And I'll say the handiest part is probably just making sure you don't nick like that center conductor, and you got the skin effect to worry about, especially at the higher frequencies. So you want to be careful with that. But we'll be taking up this this metal stripper, and then this is backup in case the stripper doesn't work. Just use care. I put a fresh blade in this, so it should be good. And then no tower climb is complete without some Scotch Super 33 plus black tape. So we'll be taking that up. Give me a second. I'm going to get my belt on, get the tools loaded up, and we'll start up the tower. Okay, we're over at the tower, and I'll just kind of do a pan upwards here. Kind of a cool shot. This is a very short climb, something like 25 feet. And I still don't have any of those fancy camera adapters that I probably need to invest in. So I'm gonna attach this camera to my belt, and we're gonna gently climb up this Rohn 25, and we'll see if you can kind of get a feel for the climb on the way up. This tower is pretty sturdy, and what makes it sturdy is I attached it with custom metal brackets to the frame of my shop, which is a post building, a wood building, wood frame, and boy did it stiffen this tower up. Otherwise, I don't think it'd be a lot of fun to climb. I think it'd be pretty wobbly and possibly not safe. So we're making our way up to the rotor. And on this particular climb, we have to go all the way to the top to get to the VHF antenna. So we're coming up on the Mosley here in a second. And I'll show you what those spacers look like. All right, I think that's as high as I'm gonna go right now. Let me get tied off here. Okay, I got my, take the slack out here. Okay, I'm gonna put one of my backup clips on here. Okay. So I think we're pretty well in a good spot for this repair, I think. Might have to go up just a little bit higher. Let me take the camera out. So if you can see here, these are those spacers. So we got the boom to mast adapter. We got 4 of those plastic spacers there. You even have them underneath each element to isolate the horizontal piece from the mast. But what broke was down here, the plastic spacers between the mast adapter to the pipe going down into the rotor. Those broke, and then this thing became free, and I think it just pulled on this coax, and it feels loose even. Oh, there we go. That'll do it. So we might just have a loose connection here, but I'm not so sure I'm gonna be able to repair that. So we're probably just gonna go ahead and replace that. But the kicker is to get this connector tied back to this vertical antenna. I'm gonna have to take this antenna off right up here, and So we'll see how that goes, but let me see if I can do this repair and film it at the same time. So this is LMR 400 Flex. You can just tell by how flexible it is, and that's obviously what you want to have around a rotator. Okay, so this particular one I soldered on that center conductor. We're not going to get that fancy today. Pull my equipment up here. So I brought some other tools with me. Basically the normal arsenal here. One of them is these cutoff tools made by Channel Lock. They do a nice, they'll make a nice smooth cut. Doesn't really pinch the cable. So we got the end cut off here. Okay, so we're gonna try out this stripper. I think it works the worst on flex, but we're gonna give it a go here and see if we can get see it starting to come out. See how it does. Maybe it'll do okay. I did all right. Again, you don't want to scratch the copper. This center conductor is aluminum coated with copper. You definitely don't want to scratch it, especially at these higher frequencies. And then what I like to do is, before I do that last strip, stripping the outside insulator off of the shielding, I like to go ahead and slip this piece of the connector on, and then I don't have to try to do that with a bunch of shielding hanging out all over the place, that braid. So we'll see how this strips. Oh, not too bad. I think we'll take it. We'll just clean up the center conductor a little bit. And I've been doing these for 25 years, whether or not it looks like it to you professionals out there. But I like to come in here and just clean this dielectric between the outside and the center connector. I like to just scrape that and get any of the debris off, just so there's less of a chance of a short. And if anybody has a better way of doing these, drop a comment. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the center conductor. And then we're gonna do the first crimp. Okay, first crimp is done. Nice and tight, nice and snug. I don't have really anything that could get in the way there. You want to maintain spacing, all that good stuff. Let me find the last piece here. So this will just slide right on. And you get to a point and it stops. You can see it stopped perfectly. And then I always take that, the outside piece, I slide it up there to kind of organize the braiding. And then I don't really like the braiding coming through. So I like there to be kind of a tight connection, mostly because it pokes you and never feels very good when that pokes in the right spot. So I always come up here to the top of the connector. Hopefully you're seeing that okay, because I cannot see what the camera is recording. And there you go. That connector's on. Very quick repair. It's going to be a lot harder getting the connector up into the antenna than it was to replace that connector. But we got her on. Looks good. We'll of course go inside and do the SWR check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get this vertical off. There's no good way to record that. And see if I can turn the video back on when we're landing the connection. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. There was no good way for me to record that, but basically there was 2 bolts that went into this mast adapter. I got those 2 bolts out and just popped this up a ways. And here's what the finished product looks like. You can see the connector is still attached to the antenna, and it just basically pulled right out. So very, very common, especially when you got an antenna this size yanking on a LMR 400 cable. It's gonna, you know, physics are gonna take over, and it's just pulled it right out. I'll see if I can rotate it here just a little bit. So what I need to do is I need to figure out a way, and I might have to reposition here on the tower, but I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get up just a bit higher to get this coax up through the mast adapter into the bottom of this antenna, and then I can reseat everything. So stay with me, and we're gonna reposition and be back. Okay, we're back. I had to reposition higher up, so you can see we're almost at the top of the tower here, and I don't have a good foothold because the rotor's in the way, so we're gonna make this quick, but I'm gonna get this old connector off. Oh yeah, it came right off. We'll toss that to the ground. And again, I don't know how this is gonna record, so I'm going to take the coax, I'm going to slide it up the adapter here. Probably going to be hard to see. See if I can grab it there. And it's going to pop out here at the top. Looks like I'm going to have to loosen some coax here for it to pop out. Okay. All right, so there you go. The coax is coming out the top. And then I'm gonna bring this antenna over. Again, apologize, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to record this, but we're gonna try. Again, this is the hardest part. All right, we're in. All right. I'm not going to worry about black tape at this point. With this lip up here, I'm not even sure it's necessary. I'm not even sure water can get in there. All right, so I got to align the holes here. Okay, we're aligned. I'm going to put the bolts back in. Okay, we're in. First bolt's in. Now the last one, we'll tighten it up, and then we'll get back down into a more comfortable position. This position is not comfortable at all. Okay, they're both in. I'm going to torque them down here with the crescent. All right, success. So I'm gonna get repositioned, I'll be right back. All right, so we got her. Again, that was absolutely the worst part, just because of how crowded this tower is at the top. But we're in, both bolts are in. And I think that's about as good as it's gonna get here. I'm gonna do some tidy up with some black tape just around this rotor loop. and then we'll head down and we're going to do the SWR check here in a moment. So we're going to make our way down. I got the black tape on, did some just some basic secure layers, and I think we'll be good to go. This Mosley's old and at some point it's going to need replaced, but the thing just keeps on chugging along. So as the saying goes, don't fix what's not broke. All right, we'll make our way down here. All right. Okay, we're back in the remote station, and this is kind of the moment of truth. I have not tested this yet, so you're going to see what I see. Oh yeah, it's flat. You can see, you know, it's almost 1-to-1 at 146.52, right at about 50 ohms, and you can see that lower left needle is, it's pretty much holding on 1. So I would say that is a successful repair. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move the All-Star node back over to this antenna and put it back into service, and then I'm going to hook up the Diamond X-510 over on the flex, and we're going to call CQ on 146.52 just for kicks, see if anybody's out there. Most likely not, it's the heat of the day, but for kicks I'm just going to give a quick call out there, and then we'll wrap up this video. And again, you know, while I'm thinking of it, you know, my videos are not fancy, they're pretty raw. I'm still trying to gauge to see if there's an interest in sharing this type of random ham radio, you know, activity that I do. For an example, tonight I'm going to be posting a short on some 146.52 FM mobile that I did recently out in Colorado, worked to POTA, some stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. It made me remember just how much fun FM simplex can be. Which is, you know, some of the first things you do when you get your ham ticket is FM simplex on 2 meters. So it just was a lot of fun, put a smile on my face. And that said, I'm going to be listening to 146.52 more often here in the tropo months, you know, all the way through September, and just see if anybody's out there. But with that, I'm looking for ideas. So if anybody has ideas on content they'd like to see, please let me know. So I'm going to get this all buttoned back up the way it was back in April, and we'll be back with you when we're at the flex. Okay, we're back, and basically did a quick test. I got it all hooked to the coaxial relays. I got it set over here on the Shelly side, and I just heard a station when I did this. So we're going to see if we can work. I know the station. I haven't talked to him for quite a while, so I'm literally just running. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for a second. Just running 3 watts here. November 0 Yankee kilowatt on simplex 5.2. So we'll see if this station comes back. Again, 3 watts. But I do think he's a local station.
Yeah, November 0, I didn't get it all. It's real loud. But this is W1GUU near Dighton.
W1GUU from N0YK. Well, good afternoon. I believe the handle's Gary. This is Chad over in Scott City. I'm doing a YouTube video, and I just literally did some antenna repair, and just got the coax to the back of the transverter, running 3 watts, about 3.5 watts to Diamond X-510 at about 60 feet. Over.
Yeah, Roger, Roger. Well, I mean, you're just blowing my doors out over here, just to the west of Dighton. It's good to hear you, my friend.
Okay, well, very good. Well, tell me real quick, do you care if you're in the YouTube video? I have a YouTube channel. It's 1 kilowatt, or just type in my call sign. But do you care if you're on the video, and would you tell us a little bit about your station real quick?
Yeah, no problem. I don't mind being on a YouTube video, but I've got just a 50-watt Yaesu, and I have a Yagi on top of the 40-foot tower, and it's pointed west, so it makes sense that you're as loud as you are.
Okay, well, you're doing a great job, Gary, for your station there. I'm showing you just a hair under 20/9 without any preamps or anything. That's just pure RF from the antenna through the feed line to the back of the transverter.
Yeah, no problem. I just moved it a little bit more west, but that's pretty crazy. I just heard the radio key up and thought maybe somebody was there keying a radio. So no problem. W1GUU.
Okay, well, that's kind of funny. W1GUU from N0YK. I'm literally just, I'm trying to build a YouTube channel and see if there's any interest in random ham radio videos, like repair videos. So I just was up on the tower, did a connector repair, and I was literally just kind of doing a quick test to see what the SWR looked like on the antenna, and it's flat, so that's good. And I was going to call CQ on 5.2 with a couple hundred watts, and you came back before I had a chance to turn the amp on. Over.
Well, that's how it works sometimes. Sometimes 5.2 surprises you, and sometimes it's void. But I'll let you call CQ, and I'll keep listening, and I'll go look for that YouTube channel.
Okay, well, if you get a chance, please subscribe. It helps the channel out. And again, I'm just trying to see if there's enough interest in capturing some of this stuff for mostly, it could be, ham radio ops of all ages and experience. But I've had quite a few people find interest in some of the random videos. So we're going to get the amp kicked on here, and then I'll put out a few CQs, and then we'll probably call it quits for today. But we're going to be listening a lot more on 5.2 here with it being tropo season. W1GUU from N0YK. Thanks for calling back.
No problem, buddy. W1GUU monitoring from Diamond.
All right, well, that's a pretty neat test. Barely got the coax connected to the coaxial relays and fed into the Q5 transverters over here, and had somebody calling on simplex 5.2, and that's in a more populated area, that's a common occurrence. Like, we were just out in Denver, and there was constant chatter on simplex 14652, which was pretty cool. But out here in southwest Kansas, there's just not a lot of activity, and so it's kind of neat knowing that other people are listening out there. So real quick, I'm going to get the amp fired up here, and we're going to do one more call. I'm going to mostly just show you the power, and then we'll probably call this video quits. So give me a second. I'm going to get the power kicked way down so we don't roast the vertical antenna with a legal limit 2 meter output signal, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I got the W6PQL. It's a beautiful amplifier, legal limit for 2 meters. I use it mostly on sideband, but with the coaxial relays down below here, I can do all sorts of switching. I can switch this amp to feed the satellite antenna, this new vertical that we switched over, and I'm only feeding it with like a 1/2 watt. So we're going to see here. I'm going to put out a quick call. November 0 Yankee Kilowatt calling CQ on simplex 5.2 and listening. So about 250, that's probably where I'll run it, maybe 2 1/4 making it up to the antenna, which is plenty for that 510. It has tremendous gain. It's looking right at the horizon with its gain. Again, it's about a 20-foot long vertical antenna. So it's a monster on 2 meters. But like I said, I don't expect anybody to come back. Well, there we go. There's N0KQX. I could just barely hear him. I did not expect that. That's Dell. He's about 40 miles to the south. We'll see if we can work him. N0KQX, N0YK, N0KQX, N0YK. Do you copy, Dell? Okay, you're right at the noise, Dell, but I recognized your voice more so than the call sign. It wasn't really coming through, but I could recognize your voice. Doing a quick YouTube video, just got the Diamond X-300NA hooked up to the big amplifier, running about 250 watts up to it, getting ready for tropo season, even though I'm a little bit behind schedule. Over. Okay, I copy S5. I do not have my S meter pulled up here. I'll give you an S meter reading on the next go around. Okay, I copy S9. Give me another call and I'll see if you're registered on this side. Okay, I show you S7 here on the flex, so that's not too bad. You've came out of the noise quite a bit. I just worked Gary over in Dighton, W1GUU, just randomly on 3 watts, and then we turn the amp on and obviously getting out a little bit more. So that's pretty good, about 40 miles. Okay, well, QSL, well, thanks for coming back. We're going to be monitoring 5.2 a lot more. And I am doing a YouTube video, so hopefully you don't mind being in it, at least the audio, over. All right, well, give me a shout sometime. We'll be listening here over the next couple months, seeing if we can pick up some Tropo. N0KQX, Dell in Garden City from N0YK. 73, Dell. All right, well, that was cool. 2 stations. Here I didn't think we'd work one, and we knocked out 2 stations here. Again, just taking a step back and kind of reiterating, simplex 5.2 can just be a tremendous amount of fun. You know, it's very simple. You know, you can work it with a wet noodle. It doesn't take a lot of equipment. You can buy this equipment relatively cheaply and get on the simplex 5.2. And what I find is kind of interesting, you know, we was coming back from Colorado a couple days ago, and I ran across a ham I knew from, you know, he's about an hour drive away from Scott City. And, you know, I passed him on the interstate as we were cruising home, and kind of an unwritten, you know, code or rule is, you know, if you have the capability and you see another ham, you know, say on the interstate, you give him a shout on simplex 146.52. So I gave him a shout, and sure enough, he was there. We had a nice little chat for 15 or so minutes as we worked our way back to the house. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. If you want to see any more content on just, you know, pure simplex 5.2 contacts on FM, let me know. As we continue to enter the Tropo season here, I'll see if I can't do some more videos. Maybe we'll get some more you know, stations further out. You know, I'd like to work people back in the eastern part of Kansas like I did, you know, many years ago on simplex 5.2. Again, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't tried it, I highly suggest, you know, you can do it on a handheld, you can do it on a mobile. I think a base station's even better because, you know, what you can do during the morning and evening, you know, when you have time is monitor for 146.52. And then as the band opens up, you're going to hear those signals come in, and it's going to be kind of an early warning indicator that there's maybe some tropo going on and some enhancement on the 2-meter band. So with that, if you're still with me, I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and we'll be back with you another day with another video. We'll say 73.